Welcome to Into the Mind of a Madman with your host, me, the Madman. Kobe died. Sad moment, sad time. You know, the 8 others, Gianna Bryant, me being a dad of a girl, it kind of hit me a little different, you know. The way I feel about Kobe kind of hit me a little different. Like, you know, I love him. Like, as far as a basketball player and as far as watching him growing up, man, it kind of hurt me hard, yo. It hurt me hard. But I just want to say, rest easy to everybody involved. You know, condolences to the family, and you know, the family, the friends. It was a hard one to take, right? I think that was when I heard somebody describe it, like when people describe death as like it's a dream. Like, I just couldn't believe it. Like, it felt like you just in a bad dream. This is the first time I've really understood it. Like, that one kind of hit me like, still like unbelievable type. You know what I'm saying? But rest in peace, rest easy to all those involved. Now, this is not an episode pertaining to that. Like, I'm not gonna share any type of Kobe highlights. I never met the man or don't want to talk about his basketball career. I'm here to talk about the accident, the helicopter accident. When death comes in tragic ways, we look to blame somebody, you know, whether it be religion, like God or Allah, or, you know, somebody religious. Why would they do this? If, you know, why would they allow this? We look to religion, we look to humans, we have to have some. It helps us with closure, you know. It helps us with closure as far as, all right, at least we could point at this or this particular thing of, all right, if they would have did this different, if they did, you know, we look to hold somebody accountable. Somebody, something, somebody got to answer for this. And, you know, I listened to a lot of people's opinions on this, and it just didn't sit right with me. You know, people want to blame the pilot, which I believe is probably 1,000% at fault. Right? People want to blame. I heard people blame Kobe. I heard, like, I hear so many different stories on who should take accountability for this particular accident. And maybe if they didn't do this or didn't do that, they would still be here, right? Which is all true, you know. The story goes, far as the accident, it was a foggy day. They got in the helicopter, took flight. LAPD they grounded all of their helicopters because it was such a bad weather day. But still, you know, they went out and they ended up in an accident which killed everybody. Now, I hear people saying, why did they go up if it was so foggy you couldn't see? Why? Who convinced? They convince the pilot? Was it Kobe convincing the pilot? Yo, listen, we need to do it to this game. Yo, you can do it. Was it the pilot convincing Kobe and the other families on there? Hey, I know it's a little foggy out, or it's a lot of foggy out, but I do this. I got it. You know, I believe it's a combination of all and none, right? It's all in the fact that I believe everybody on board, mainly the adults on board, looked at it as a routine day. Alright, it's foggy out, yeah, but the fog is over here. We'll fly 10, 15 minutes and we'll be out of the fog and everything will be good. And you know what I mean? We did this before. Like this, it couldn't have been the only foggy day that they ever experienced, right? I don't believe that there was much concern on board. I don't believe that there was a family on board to where they said, you know what, we shouldn't fly today. And the other family was like, hey, don't even worry about it. It's gonna be cool. I don't think anybody would put their family in that position. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody would put their family in such a position if you ever flown a helicopter before, flown in a helicopter before. I've flown in a helicopter before. I've flown in a little small helicopter before. Not like that helicopter was bigger than the one I flew in, but the one I flew in was pretty much a 3 to 4 passenger seater, if you want to say. It's like pilot section up front and a little seat in the back. It was me and my wife and the pilot. And you wear the headphones and I can hear everything the pilot is saying to the air traffic controller, right? I bring that up to say, flying in this small helicopter is very different. Flying in a helicopter is very different than flying in a plane. Even if I say a private plane, which is like one of the smaller planes than, like a 747 or a 757 or something like that, right? Now, like I said, I have on the headset. I can hear the pilot. He can talk to us. We can talk to him. He talks to the air traffic controller. And I can hear the constant communication of, all right, I'm doing this. I'm about to go left. I'm about to go right. I'm going over here. This is where I'm at. It's constant communication that you hear, right? So I'm saying this to say, I understand the constant communication a pilot has with the air traffic controller, which is very vital to this particular way I'm thinking, right? When you get in the plane and when you want to fly somewhere, you get in the plane, you get in the helicopter, there is federal laws that you have to declare your flight passage with the air traffic controller, right? Because they control the traffic of the air. They have to make sure you're clear to fly. You have to be authorized to fly, especially over a major metropolitan city like LA, Atlanta, New York, Chicago, any city. I mean, if you're not flying over like somebody's private property, you may not necessarily need to be talking to a air traffic controller. Because I went skydiving before, and that was a little plane in a little field, but I wasn't hooked up to the thing, so I don't know if they have to actually, but I'm guessing they do. But I know flying over any major city, at least, you have to declare a flight plan, so you don't interfere with other planes and helicopters and that may be flying. You just can't get in a plane or a helicopter and just fly and just fly by sight and act like, you know what I'm saying? It's too much involved. And like I said, I can hear the constant communication of, all right, I'm about to turn right, I'm turning left, I'm going down here, like, all right, all of that's said and done, right? So they go on this journey, routine. I think everybody was just, hey, we go into the game. This is what we do every Saturday or whatever, and we gonna do this. And it didn't turn out like it wanted, right? And like I said, we're searching to blame somebody. But like I said, when you're in a helicopter, you'll feel the wind resistance. You know what I'm saying? You'll feel the wind. It's very different than flying on a plane. So you have to take very much precaution in that, because it doesn't. And then when you got to understand, when you're flying, once you get up in the air, you can't just sit down anywhere if you do get in trouble. But I wanted to say, I cannot fault the pilot. You know what I'm saying? Because me as a truck driver, a professional driver, they consider me a professional driver because, I went to school and got a license. I got my CDL, and they tell you, yo, you're a professional driver. Your standards are held higher than just a regular person driving, because you're supposed to be aware of certain things, all of that, right? And with this knowledge, I'm looking at their situation and like, all right, he's a professional pilot. He's aware of certain things that he got to take into account, weather being one. And he knows, like, once you get up there, you can't just sit this down anywhere. So I'm just more inclined to think it was just routine for him. Like, we get in these routines in our lives, and we just think today, like, we don't never think today is the day where that routine will not be that routine. You know what I'm saying? So as a professional driver, I've driven in foggy weather. I've driven in rainy weather. I've driven in the snow. I've driven at night. I've driven in windy weather. If you're a truck driver, you understand the wind is a major factor in trucking. If you go to YouTube or whatever type of things you go to see videos on, right? Whatever search engine you use, you can find a lot of accidents involving rain, like car accidents, truck accidents involving rain, snow, sleet, hail, fog, because we all think we can just jump in the car, jump in the truck, and it'll be like, it's raining now, but it'll be raining for 20 minutes, and when I get over there, by the time I get to my destination, it'll be cool. As a truck driver, if I have a destination in Texas and I'm in North Carolina, it's raining in North Carolina, I figured, all right, listen, I'm going to drive in the rain, I'm going to drive through this fog, and by the time I hit South Carolina, headed to Texas, I'll be good. I just got to get through this now, and I got an appointment to make, I got a deadline to make, I got money to make. It's routine. I do this. I drive every day. Every day is not just this clear weather perfect day to drive, right? As regular people, we go to work, we go to the store, we go to the club, we go to our friends' house, family members, we take vacations, we jump in these cars and we just do it. We don't. A lot of people don't check their tires, like the air in their tires, which is very much critical to way your car handles. The amount of air, the tread on your tires. You don't check your tread. So like if it's raining and you don't have a lot of tread, it's easier to hydroplane and all of the, like it's a lot. We as everyday people, we as truck drivers, we take a lot of risk. And it may not be of conscious risk, but we just so routine with it. We just so, like I said, every day is not just the brightest, sunniest day. It's plenty of cars on the road when it's raining heavy, still doing 60, still doing 70. There's plenty of cars on the road in the snow. There's plenty of cars on the road on a nice, beautiful day doing 70, 80 miles an hour. If you look up how a car operates over 70 miles an hour, they'll tell you there are points where your car is actually off the ground. Like you're driving so fast, the wheels come up off the ground. Like, you know what I'm saying? And at a certain speed, you actually just like skipping through. Like you can look this up. But like I said, we all take these risks daily. And I believe they took a risk, but it was so routine. It wasn't the only foggy day they seen, right? But back to, that's a point that I wanted to make. That's the correlation I want. All take these risks because it's routine, and I believe that's what they all did. The pilot and the passengers. I don't think anybody convinced anybody. I don't think the passengers convinced the pilot to fly. I don't think the pilot convinced the passengers to fly. I think it was all a collective of, all right, we just gonna get on the plane, we gonna do this. Even if they had to, whoever had to convince anybody else, they would then have to convince the air traffic control people to let them fly. I hate the point of, well, the LAPD, they didn't even fly their helicopters because they thought it was bad weather. I agree. I understand that. LAPD could go, you know what, we not flying today. There's no reason for us to be up there. If there is absolutely no reason for us to be up there, we're not going to be up there. It's just such a bad weather at this point. I get it. All right. But air traffic control, they never shut down flights for the day. There wasn't, everything is grounded because the weather is bad. Air traffic control still allowed them to fly, which is telling me the weather is bad, but it's not bad enough to shut down everything. You get what I'm saying? So to put it on even the LAPD wouldn't fly, that has no bearing on this situation. You can't tell me or convince me that Kobe Bryant is the biggest name in LA that if there's a ground stoppage to all flights because of weather conditions, that Kobe Bryant can tell a pilot, listen, holla at the air traffic controller guy or girl, person, tell him it's me, we need to get to this game, even though everything is closed down, everything is shut down, this is me, I need to get over it. You have to make a declaration to the air traffic controller to even fly, you have to have permission to fly. Oh, like I said, especially these major cities. It just don't work like that. Like you just, it's not like you get in your car. We can get in our car. I can get in my truck and just drive and just go. Like I can go anywhere I want. Like in the U.S. on these public roads with no it's no road controller. There is not that. Like but you cannot do that in a helicopter and plane. So I just hate that. Like to say, well, this person convinced this person, and like you just can't. If it was that bad of a day and all flights were grounded, you can't. There is no convincing the air traffic controller dude that we can just go. I don't think the pilot would put his license at risk, put families at risk, knowing there's a ground stoppage. Just say, yo, everybody, come on, I got this. I know they put a stoppage to flights, but I got this, and he's just gonna risk it all. I don't believe that happened. I believe it was simply routine. And it just didn't go as the routined. You get what I'm saying? In a sense. But I just hate the judgment of it all. I hate to put the blame. I'm at peace. I mean, it's not my job to be at peace with it. It's Vanessa Bryant and the kids and all the other families. But for me, I just hate the narrative of somebody convinced me or the pilot did wrong. Yes, like I said, I believe the pilot is 1,000% wrong in the fact that he caused an accident, right? Because there are only two ways to cause an accident. There's either a electrical issue with the vehicle, something happened with the vehicle, or there was a driver pilot error. That's it. There was no other plane that hit them, so there is no like they had a collision with another like a car, like you know what I mean? There is you, the pilot or the driver, or the plane. If nothing goes wrong with the plane, it's a pilot issue. If nothing went wrong with the helicopter, there's no mechanical, electrical issues that went wrong with the helicopter, then there is human error involved. Get what I'm saying? So based on that alone, the pilot was 100% at fault for the accident, right? But I just don't hold it against them because we all make these decisions. We make these decisions daily by, like I said, just getting in our car on a rainy day and we don't know how much tread we got and we still doing 70 and we don't know how much air is in our tires and we still do 70. We still got to make it to work. We still got to pick up the kids from school. We still got to go to school. We still got to go to the grocery store. It's just raining outside. It's just a little fog. It's nighttime. It's a little snow. It's ice on the road. We still make these decisions. And me being a truck driver, I've seen how many accidents rain causes. I've driven across these states, and when there is rain, there is an accident. When there's sun, there's an accident. But when there's rain, there's a guaranteed accident. When there's snow, there's guaranteed accidents. And when it's fog, it's guaranteed accidents. Like I said, you can look on YouTube and see how fast people drive when there's an accident. And there's snow outside, they'll still do 70 because they think they got it. Everybody thinks they got it till they don't got it. So how can we fault that man for believing that he had it and he just didn't have it? as a person who drives a car, we can pull over to the right, pull over to the left. If we get out there and go, you know what, this is a little too much. I don't feel safe. I could just pull over. On the best case scenario, which I don't necessarily believe you should do, if you're driving down a roadway, you could actually hit the brakes and come to a complete stop in the middle of the roadway. You don't even have to go left or right. You could just hit the brakes and just stop right there if you don't feel safe, right? In a typical great moment, there's nobody else on the road, because, you know, don't do that because somebody might hit you in the back. But if you just completely just stop, if you feel unsafe, you just hit the brakes and stop, you could just stop. And you could just calm yourself and you'll be all right. A pilot can't do that. Once you get up in the air and then you get into some stuff, especially low visibility, which is probably the most major issue you can have. You can't see in front of you. There is no, or front or side. There is no, I'ma just stop. There is no, I'ma just put it down right here. You just can't. You have to find an open spot for it. But you have to find an open spot for it. But it's a lot that goes on with that, man. It's a lot that I just can't. I just don't hold no blame to that, man, because I do it. I know I've done it. About 2 years ago now, I was riding in Ohio. Snow, ice on the ground. Doing about 50. I'm in the truck. Doing about 50. Me and another truck behind me. We doing about 50. We on US 33. I'm headed up into Columbus. Headed up to Columbus to make a delivery. It's about 3:30, 4 in the morning. 3:30 to 4 in the morning. It's about that time. Ice, you know, there's snow coming down. Not heavy, but you know, it's coming down. It's cold. It's, like I said, 3:30. I hit a patch of ice. Start doing my one of the most scariest moments in my life came out of it clean, right? I'm talking about the truck is over the road. All my training kick in, like, just don't hit the brake. Make sure you turn to where you want to go. Turn the wheel to where you want to go. Aim high. I'm over here with it. It's about 2-3 seconds, but it's the most scariest 2-3 seconds. If you hit a patch of ice, going any speed, you have no control. Straightened up on me. Woo! Woo! Caught it. Got it. We good. I look. Side view mirror. Trucking back at me. Off the road, hit the ditch, in the ditches. See the lights go up and down, everything. Damn. He ain't handled it like I got it. He ain't handled it like I did. He in the ditch now. Still on the way to Ohio. It didn't make me pull over. It made me go slow. I was going about 25, 30 miles an hour after that. It didn't make me pull over though. But headed to my destination, got right, got back on the road, headed back home. Scariest moment. I look up on the internet, see if that accident made the news. A couple days later, I didn't necessarily know where I was at in the moment, but I knew, like, I gauged it to where it happened at. Look it up, made the news, that accident. Which I believe to be the accident. Dude crashed and died. It happened to be an icy bridge. You know, the sign always say the bridge ices before the roadway. It was an icy bridge. He didn't actually go into a ditch. He fell off the bridge. Like, the bridge was an overpass, had a road under it, and he veered off and he ended up dying. I believe that's the same I believe that was the same accident that I just avoided, the guy who crashed behind me. Now, I didn't stop to help or whatever because I was so scared that I was just even afraid to hit the brakes at that point. Like, I slowed down enough. Like I said, I was doing 30 miles an hour from 50, but I was just scared. I was just we was doing 50. We wasn't like balling down the highway or balling down that road. So on that road on a regular day, you can, I think the speed limit is like, it was like 50 coming out the curb because we came out a curb because the road curves and we came out the curb and then you go, it's probably about 60 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? If you've been in Ohio before, you know, like the U.S. roads is damn near like the interstate. In some places you just do like 70, but it's like I'm like, damn, they died. So now I'm like, yo, that could have been. We always think it's a routine. We, as truck drivers, we drive so much that we get in our thing, and this ain't the only snowy day we seen. This ain't the only rainy day we seen. This ain't the only foggy day we seen. And sometimes it just don't go as planned. So for me, I cannot hold that man. I can't hold him to blame because we all do it. I don't think we all should hold that man to blame. It was simply a thing of, I got it. I've been doing this, I got it, and it didn't go as planned. I don't believe nobody, from Kobe to the Archibellis to all the other people on there, all the adults. I don't think they all just had to convince the pilot. I don't think the pilot had to convince them, because like I said, you can't convince the air traffic controller. It's just so much. I just believe it to just be a regular routine thing, and it just didn't go as planned. And I don't care what reports come out, what type of he just decided to go into the fog, or he was flying around for 15 minutes and he decided to make a move. We all just decide. We just decide. And like I said, there's so many accidents out here on the road. Even when it's just raining, the amount of accidents from just a dry, sunny day to just rain, we all don't go out and just think it's going to be that day. Everything's a routine day until it's that day. This is just my thoughts, man. I thank you for riding with me.